So I watch these videos with these kids that go no contact with their parents, and I do so in the hopes of learning what I did wrong, what I could have done better, and what I could do to hopefully one day reconcile with my child and get to see my grandchildren again. But there's a disturbing trend that I see. That is, they all make the same statement. They say, if I hear from you that your child has no contact with you, then automatically I know that your child's reason for going no contact is 100% valid, they are in the right, and you are wrong, and you are a horrible person. And in my opinion, in no world, in any situation you can come up with, is that okay? To say that I have no critical thinking, I have no objective thinking, and that when somebody tells me something, then I believe it 100%. That's it. No critical thinking whatsoever. In my situation, if I told you that, my daughter is now currently no contact with us, and against their will, she's made my grandchildren no contact. And I assure you, my grandchildren adore us and miss us every single day until we're wiped from their minds. So by their theory, I'm a horrible person merely because one person in the universe says that. One person in the universe says, I don't want to have contact with you. You're bad. Except here's a little background. My ex-wife has massive addiction issues. She's also has her mother, my child's grandmother, still alive. And the only time that she would want to do anything with the children is when she would want to show face to her mother or show them off for friends. The hard work, the daily work, the work in between that typically moms do in the very nuclear family, I did, or she just did not do. She suffers from massive addiction issues. Over the past few years, those addictions apparently have started to take a toll on her body. She's lost all her teeth. She has now marks all up and down her arm and her entire body. Something that my daughter, who is now no contact, has said that her mother's doctor told her to please stop using that substance. My ex, was also bothered that we had so much contact with my grandchildren and that she did not. And how come she wasn't allowed all this unfettered access? Again, all of that was my daughter's choice. We were just here, ready, willing, and able to be grandparents. So my ex-wife began working on my daughter, hoping to get her on her side. And eventually she started working and grooming her to live with her, to get over there, to get away from us. I did everything I could for my daughter. Everything she asked, and other stuff extra. It was always extra. Whenever a situation came up, when she came home and she was pregnant, we looked up everything. I updated myself. I read all the newest stuff that I could to try to be a better grandfather and support her better. When she was going through a bad marriage, we did the same. We would read and ask questions to other people and get advice on, hey, how can we support her better? How can we, navigate? We provided logistical and emotional and psychological support for her, even when she was a victim of a crime that is still being adjudicated today. We did everything that we could. We did everything that she asked of us, which always leads me back to this story. How manipulative is an ex-wife? Not every ex-wife, but my ex-wife. Just showing that this situation can be different from others. 11 years ago, I won custody of my children. We went to court, and I got custody. She brought a therapist, their supposed therapist. She brought her to court, kind of just to save face. There was no way she was going to get custody. The children had already missed so much school that CPS had sent letters to her saying that they now had to be involved because the children had missed too much school and the school had reported it and reported other problems. And she had already kicked them out of her house in the middle of the night. But we went to court, and she brought this lady. I had to stop there for a second. But she brought this therapist to court as her evidence of abuse on my part to the children. They wanted the children to testify. The children did not want to testify. They said it was not true. but she brought this therapist. Now, side note, with this therapist, she had been out socially with my ex-wife. In addition to being out socially with my ex-wife, one of the CPS workers not only went out socially with my ex-wife, but had my ex-wife watch her children, and also picked up my children for visits and sleepovers with her kids. This is all stuff that I found out way after the case was closed and I had gotten custody. But anyway, this therapist gets up there, and this therapist says that she believes that there was some level of abuse and alienation going on both sides of the parenting spectrum there. The court did not seem very interested in the alienation. They seemed interested in the abuse. My attorney was incredibly aggressive, and he asked the question. He said, "Ma'am, how many times have you seen these children?" Her answer, she had seen all three of them one time. Professionally, at least, one time. So he then said, "How many times have you seen these?" Well, sorry, let me take it back. The judge then took over, and the judge said, so let me get this straight. He goes, "I'm going to stop this right now and right." He said, "I'm going to stop it right in the tracks." He said, "You've seen these children all together one time. 3 children, one time." And then he also asked an important question. "How many times were these children alone?" And she said, "Never." She said, "Their mother insisted on being present in the room, so she allowed her to." So the judge then said, "So you're going to tell me you've seen all 3 of these children one time, professionally, and you've made a decision on what they're suffering from?" She began to look very odd and very confused and knew she was in trouble. He said, "At any point did you reach out to Mr. Escobar and offer him anything?" She said no. And then it started going downhill further fast then. He said, "How many times have you met with Caden?" And he said, or she said, "A few times, multiple times, but never alone, always with her mother in the room." And that was it. Immediately, he said, "Okay, we're done. You can go. There'll be no more talk of abuse or anything else, but you're done. You can go." And he didn't want anything as part of the record. My children all later said the same thing, that as part of their therapy, my Caden, my older daughter who's now no contact, when she would go in, she asked to go in alone, which her mother, my ex, refused. She said, "No, I'm going in there with you." And when she did go in, she would do the talking. My ex would do the talking. And it was mostly complaining about me and our marriage. And that was it. So my daughter never got therapy. But yet here we are with a parent who's manipulating, alienating, causing massive amounts of damage, as if the damage has not already been done. Enough has been done. But yet if you listen to these kids that say they go no contact, that everybody that has gone no contact against, they're horrible people. You know, there are valid reasons for going no contact. I was a victim of every type of abuse that a person could suffer from. We didn't put a label on it back then. We just didn't talk to them or stayed away from those people. I had very dangerous people in my family. Stayed away from them. That's it. But they were valid. There was arrest. There was evidence. There was, hey, good reason. If I was upset with somebody, I was upset with them. I stayed away. There are people in my family that I have problems with. They have access to my children. But I personally have a problem with. I don't like them. But you want to talk to my kids? There they are. They're your relative as well, and you're a generally safe person. I think as open-minded as we need to be, that people have a valid reason for going and doing no contact, we need to understand that people are also misusing it and causing massive amounts of damage to suit their own needs.